Welcome back, guys, to another Captain Trucks podcast. Today's podcast is a football one. So, my co-host here is a big fan of the New York Jets, and most importantly, their quarterback, Zach Wilson.
I'm not Zach Wilson.
We know you're not Zach Wilson. I said you're a fan of Zach Wilson.
No, I'm a fan. Yeah, I like Zach Wilson. Go Wilson. Go Jets.
What do you think of Zach Wilson being on the Jets?
Well, it's a tough place to start your career. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of people are really down on how he performed this year, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Okay. Well, do you think...
For a guy who got sacked 44 times, I thought he did pretty good. 13 games.
Do you think Zach Wilson should have gone to a different team? And if you could go back to the draft and you were an owner or a coach of any of the teams, what team would you choose to be the owner or coach of so you could draft him to that team?
Well, since Zach Wilson went second, it was Wilson, or I'm trying to remember who drafted first.
Mac Jones?
No, Trevor Lawrence went first, and I can't remember which team. So, unless you were going to give up Trevor Lawrence, who was considered by far and away the number one pick for not just for that year, but the year before, they were already saying that he was going to be the number one pick. So, I think the only way you're going to get Zach Wilson is if you're the New York Jets, and they took him. So, but I think Zach Wilson would have been better off being able to be behind an excellent quarterback that's going to retire soon. So, I wish he'd been able to go to a place like Green Bay or maybe a place like Tampa Bay with experienced quarterbacks where he could learn the ropes for a few years without having the pressure of starting. And then I think that would have been better for his career. But this is what happened, and he's got a first year behind him. He had a better record. I believe they won 3 games with him as the starter, and 1 without him. But that's better than the previous year. I think they only won 2 games. So he won 3 games out of 13 that he played. Doesn't sound very good, but it's still better than the year before.
So, if he had gone to Tampa Bay, do you think he would have gotten to play at all in any of the games? Or do you think Tom Brady would have been playing every single game?
I think Tom Brady would have played every single game. I think he would have only gone in maybe in the last few minutes of games where they were up by 20 or 30 points. So he wouldn't have gotten much real experience, but he probably would have gotten to play in the preseason, and it would have been an excellent experience for him to learn the offense, pick Tom Brady's brain. I think that would, and not have to worry about getting injured. But you know what? I'm not unhappy with the year. I'm sure he learned a lot doing what he did.
Did you know that Zach Wilson and Tom Brady, hashtag Go Bucks, let's go Buccaneers, let's go to the Super Bowl, let's defeat our rivals in the playoffs. But did you know they share a birthday?
Well, I do now, but I did not know that until they played each other, and that was broadcast on during the game. So that was pretty strange. What are the odds of that? I can tell you right now, 365 to 1. Not very good odds, so pretty strange.
Well, that was a pretty interesting game. No one's going to remember that for the Bucks winning. They'll remember that game for Antonio Brown throwing his temper tantrum, throwing off his shirt and pads, and walking off the field. What did you think of that occurrence?
Well, pro football is entertainment, so what can I say? Antonio Brown didn't fail to entertain.
Hey, at least they got a lot of views for that.
Amen.
NFL can't fault them for that. So, do you think Zach Wilson will eventually go to another team, or will he stay with the Jets?
Hard to say. I mean, who knows? I think he's probably going to be with the Jets at least for the next 3 or 4 years. I believe that's what his contract probably requires. So I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see how he does. I think that's, I guess it's hard to know.
I'm hoping that my quarterback from my college team, which I am an Army fan, I hope that Christian Anderson will go in the NFL. I know that you have to serve a certain number of years after you're done at West Point. He's a senior this year, but I'm hoping he goes in the NFL eventually, and I'll be a fan of him when he goes in the NFL. I hope Kobe Buchanan goes into the NFL as well. This guy's a huge freaking guy. If I was facing him and I see him lined up on the offense, I'm going the other way. I'm sorry, I'm going the other way. I'm avoiding him. So, I know you're a BYU fan. Any other BYU quarterbacks that you think are going to go in the NFL soon? I know Romney, I think you said, was going to go in.
Well, Romney's going to change colleges. He's going to go play for a different college. I'm not really expecting, and it's possible, but I don't think they have the tools or the accuracy that Zach Wilson had going for them. But, you never know. I mean, the starting quarterback was only a sophomore this year. He'll be a junior next year. He was pretty good, so if he improves as much as Zach Wilson did from his, sophomore year to his junior year, then, maybe you never know.
Do you think, so did I hear that he was injured, Zach Wilson, or was it Taysom Hill that you were talking about? Taysom Hill's the Saints quarterback, right?
Yeah, so Taysom Hill was injured in the last game of the season. And it's kind of scary. It's a Lisfranc injury. I haven't heard any more about it, but I know that, I believe it was Taysom Hill's sophomore or junior year. I think his junior year. He got a Lisfranc injury, and he was out for the whole year. So it's the same kind of injury. I don't know if it's in the same place or on the same foot, but that's a scary thing.
I thought I heard Zach Wilson got injured. Is that correct, or is that false?
Well, he was injured during the year, and he had surgery, I think, on his knee. And he was out 4 games, but he's been back, and he hasn't been re-injured since then. So finished out the season, the last 4 or 5 games of the season. So he's healthy right now, as far as I know.
So for the playoffs, I know there's 2 BYU players on 2 different teams. Who are you rooting for? The Patriots in the AFC, or in the NFC, the Saints?
Well, the Saints aren't in it. You probably mean the 49ers, maybe. Actually, there are BYU players all over the place. I think there's some BYU players on the Chiefs, and I think they have, they're in the playoffs too. So
yeah. Tampa Bay has some BYU players, I believe. I don't remember exactly who.
I see. I don't know either.
So what teams are you, what team or teams?
Well, I guess I'll be rooting for all the BYU players to do well. I don't really have a favorite team of the teams that are left in the playoffs. I was rooting for the Jets and the Saints. Neither team made it. I don't really have a team that I'm rooting for right now.
Well, you like Kyle Van Noy.
Yes, I do like Van Noy, but you know what? The Buffalo Bills are closest to home, so probably root for them.
I hope they lose.
But I do like Tom Brady too. I didn't really care for him when he was at the Patriots and didn't really follow him that much, but I've kind of, since my son became a fan of the the Bucks, I've enjoyed watching him play and real impressed with him. So
Why didn't you like Brady when he was in the Patriots?
didn't dislike Brady. I just didn't follow the Patriots. So I didn't like him or dislike him.
Well, thank you guys for tuning into this podcast. This has been a presentation of the Captain Trots podcast, and we've been talking about the NFL and Zach Wilson and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And this is Captain Trots signing off.